What's something Gen Z does that older generations just don't get?
They are so restricted by social rules, it's better to do nothing than to do something lame. There's a strict code of conduct, a strict code of dress, and if anything is deemed cringe, they get shunned, which has resulted in their overall inaction. I think this is the reason for them drinking less, having less sex, the Gen Z stare, not caring about work, etc.
What's worse is that trying hard at anything is deemed cringe. The only way to succeed is to act like you didn't even have to try. I think some people think Gen Z was all born after 2010 or something. Being chronically online and active in most social media, they don't speak first ever, even when they're taking your order. When the cashier just stares at you. Are you going to tell me the total at least? I have to ask if I can swipe my card now. Gonna be honest, I don't know where you guys live, but this comment section is not sounding like my experience of Gen Z at all. Constantly track each other while in a relationship through cell phones. That's just insane to me and feels like tech-based borderline personality disorder. Not even just in a relationship, but tracking friends' locations constantly? It's so strange to me. It seems like they force themselves into a position where they don't get to enjoy anything earnestly for fear of being called cringe. I think that's so sad. Like, come on, babies, go live your lives. You don't get a second shot. Stop wasting your time acting cool. You aren't cool, and you're just depriving yourselves of joy. This is the thing. Earnestness and sincerity are cool, and I will go to my grave believing this. I am pretty sure this is just what young people do. I'm a millennial and absolutely went through a phase where excitement and genuine enjoyment were seen as deeply uncool. I think it's probably a phase that they'll grow out of. Holding those tiny little microphones in their hands when making videos. Update. What in the blue hell? I had no idea so many people had opinions, and very strong ones about this. It's so weird since those are literally built to be clipped on. Gen Z plays with the English language in a really unique way. In the past, more extreme slang expressions were more the domain of a specific region or cultural group. But with the connectivity of General Z's social media culture, their slang has become widespread, ubiquitous, and immediate to a degree we've not seen in prior generations. I find that fascinating. Deadpan stare at someone in a job where they interact with customers. For example, as a barista, just staring at the person to place an order without saying, "Hi, what would you like?" It's weird because I'm used to waiting for them to greet you as a sign that they're finished with their other task, the previous person's order, and ready to take my order so as to not be rude. I saw a video where someone was shocked that a kid went on his phone and just purchased multiple $100 flights through there. Purchases over $100 are a laptop-level decision. As an older Gen Z, I can't relate to like 90% of the stuff here, even within my uni class. Casually using AI chat as if it's 100% factual information without any drawbacks or downsides. Also looking at you, Gen Alpha. Do some damn research and fact check that shit. The older generations don't get that some of us are pushing 30. The oldest Gen Z is 29, and we are not all 14-year-olds. I'm 25. I grew up with older parents, and my siblings are way older than me. I like to think I got lucky and got a good mix of a millennial and Gen Z childhood. We are not all stupid and brain-rotted, I promise. Dude, I felt that. I'm 24, and I swear, reading these comments, all I can think is like, wow, it feels like I grabbed the last chopper out of Nam in terms of all this weird shit not applying to me or my friend group. One thing I love about them is that they don't give a shit about work. They fight for their rights and don't let management bullshit get to them. You hate on millennials but play our music in the clubs they attend but don't dance at. Yep, standing around a sensory overload factory, sober, while literally listening to Move Bitch by Ludacris. Why don't they move? Why don't they move, bitch? So essentially, shorties just show up in their apple-bottom jeans and boots with the fur, but then proceed to not get low? What is this world coming to? Generally speaking, communication skills are below par. I have almost got used to dead-eyed silence after asking a follow-up question, trying to be nice. I am an attorney, and now there are a pretty good number of Gen Z lawyers, and they just don't respond to anything.
A few weeks ago, I mentioned calling an opposing counsel to force a response, and a younger coworker told me doing that was insane unless absolutely 100% necessary or literally court-ordered. I am a millennial, and I hate phone calls too, but damn. And don't get me started on gym etiquette, lol.
As a millennial with a lot of Gen Z coworkers, I don't get the memes. In our work group chat, they'll post reaction GIFs and deep-fried memes that are completely incomprehensible to me. I don't understand what is being said or implied by them at all, but they seem to understand one another.
We've literally just taken the Darmok episode of Star Trek The Next Generation and made it our communication medium, just with memes. Homer, backing into a shrub. Philip J. Fry, his eyes squinted, his thoughts unsure. A smiling boyfriend, his head turns and the girlfriend looks askance. Edit, rewarded one that bugged me.
Watching Gen Z use voice notes for conversations that would have been 3 texts still throws me a little. My niece sent a 2-minute update about what cereal she bought, and somehow her friend replied with an even longer one while walking through Target. Isn't it basically a phone call with extra steps?
I'm a college professor, and a bunch of my Gen Z students are friends or even roommates. But when they enter our seminar room, they don't greet or talk to each other at all. They just sit down and stare at their phones until class starts. Then, once the structured part begins, they'll have a discussion. A friend who teaches high school tells me their recent cell phone ban has made a world of difference. Her students talk to each other much more now. They are more sociable in general. Yeah, I'm a millennial who tried going back to school a few years ago, taking first-year engineering courses plus some electives. I was kind of flabbergasted by the stares I got for just trying to chat with the person next to me before class started. COVID really did a number on those kids. Phones have enabled people to not be uncomfortable for any period of time. Anytime we were alone with our thoughts, we fidget and pull out our phones. When was the last time you sat in the waiting room or similar and just sat there without any digital stimulation? It's sad, but it's the world we live in now. I do try to make the effort to not always pull out my phone every time and try to just bask in the uncomfortableness and build up patience and mindfulness and just be with my thoughts. It's difficult, and you'd be lying if you don't think 95% of us are guilty of it.
Call it millennial cringe, but dress like how we did in the 90s and 2000s.
College students are dressing like it's the first season of the OC.
The Gen Z stare, like they're just currently disengaged. You'll be asking them a question and have to prompt them further for any human-like response. It's bizarre.
I'd like to add something positive to this thread that Gen Z does that older generations don't get. The conversations around mental health are a big one. The boomers in my life think I'm a special snowflake for going to therapy and reading books about psychology, when actually I'm the first one breaking the cycle of dysfunction in my family. Very awkward social skills. When you try to be friendly or bubbly to them, they often look horrified or very confused. Edit, to clarify, I mean this in a very basic interaction scenario. For example, if you're ordering a coffee and just smiling or making a small friendly comment, it's often met with no response or blank expression. I am very introverted, so this is definitely not an over-the-top extrovert thing. As a millennial, I don't understand their shift toward more conservative values and religion. It really felt like our generation made such strides toward progress, only for the younger generation to make fun of us while voting for Trump, or not voting at all and going to church on Sunday.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. It really helps. Subscribe for more, and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one.